I think it was, the right decision for, Roger Hutton to resign because the politicians were blaming him that he didn't, take the responsibility and the ownership to persuade the other board members that a cultural change needs to take place. And then when he did ask for help from the ECB, they apparently declined, to help him, with these matters at Yorkshire. So he obviously had no choice. He felt that it's too difficult for him to make any changes, and he did the right thing to resign.
I mean, it goes deeper than that, though, doesn't it? I mean, he was brought in as a reformer, if you like, just last year after all these allegations were made. So clearly other members of the board that he's levelled allegations against today, they should perhaps follow him, shouldn't they?
Well, I think they're having an emergency meeting today, and there's possibly two non-executive board members may look to resign today, who were, close, friends of, Roger Hutton. And there's also pressure on the CEO, Mickey Arthur, and also, Mark Arthur and Martin Moxon. When they face, the parliamentary hearing on November the 16th, it'll be interesting to see how transparent they are. Clarity is needed during that, hearing, and Yorkshire must be really honest about what really happened, during the time when Azeem Rafiq was a professional cricketer at the club.
Using the P word, regarded in some circles as banter, it would seem.
Well, I think that's completely, unacceptable, and there needs to be a clear understanding, which words are banter, which words are racism, terms. And the P word is clearly a racist, term, and it should be, like that. There should be, people are debating on why the reason, if you're a Pakistani, why can't we call you the P word, like we call, the Australian Aussies or Britain people Brits. It's just completely, unacceptable to even have that debate. You just cannot use the P word. It's simple as that.
Have you experienced racism while you were playing?
No one ever used the P word, against me, and I didn't experience any of this sort of racism. And even when I was at Sussex, even in the England team, and Essex, people would ask me, about my culture and embrace that. But what helped that was because the likes of Mushtaq Ahmed was at Sussex a senior figure. The club understood diversity, embracing, cultures. And that's something that Yorkshire need to do. If they're really serious about, understanding what inclusivity means, they need to appoint a chairman of British Asian descent. And the like of, Lord Patel seems to be an ideal candidate.
What harm has been done to Yorkshire County Cricket Club with this row, given the fact that these racism allegations have been levelled, but because it seems to be intensified, of course, by their handling or mishandling of what has happened?
Well, they avoided the issues with Azeem Rafiq. It was clearly they didn't take any of his allegations seriously. They gave insignificant concern about the whole, issue there. And now they're in a position where they have to be open and honest, in a parliamentary hearing, where even Boris Johnson has put pressure on the ECB to deal with this matter and swiftly, or else, the government will take over and they will make the bigger decisions. So, the ECB need to be strong about their decisions, and they have been, but they need to, be absolutely clear that Yorkshire County Cricket Club need to be embracing diversity, inclusivity. We need to see more British Asian coaches coming through the system, but at the leadership level who make key decisions, we need to see British Asians to be appointed in them roles.
To be stripped of international matches, look at Headingley, world-famous test ground. Is that a sufficient punishment, in your opinion?
Well, look, I think we have to wait and see, what happens after, the November the 16th and what decisions, Yorkshire look to make in embracing a fresh start. And if it's adequate, with the government, with the likes of Sajid Javid and, the parliamentary committee, meeting that they have, then, ECB may allow them to have international, cricket back at Headingley. But they need to show these changes, because at the moment, if they don't show any transparency, the rumour will be that people will think maybe Yorkshire County Cricket Club is institutionally racist.
And in your opinion, as you were mentioning there, bringing somebody of Asian descent to head up things at Headingley, that is the only way forward, is it?
I think that is the only option for them. And they're saying the likes of, the ex-chairman, Colin Greaves, to come back. But he was there when Azeem Rafiq was there and didn't, deal with these issues. And if he does want to come back, he will have to face, parliamentary hearing. Why does he want to come back? And there'll be extra questions asked about him. I think it's the simplest and the smoothest option here is make Lord Patel a permanent chairman of Yorkshire County Cricket Club.
This is, presumably, things like this happen outside Yorkshire too, so other clubs need to be scrutinised, don't they?
Well, this is an opportunity for, anyone from the ethnic minorities played professional cricket, a British, Asian, or even, a British black cricketer to come through and talk about it openly. They can contact the PCA, the ECB, if they need to speak to any of the sort of media companies, and they can go out there and speak to them and give an interview and be honest about what allegations or racisms that they've actually received or experienced. Because I think the ECB, are open to hear their stories because they want to, embrace inclusivity. They've committed to doing other plans to develop urban centres around, the cities where over 50%, of British Asian population are in the cities based, but they lack that facility. So ECB are trying to, help with that. So they'll be open to any sort of these kind of, racial allegations that, other British, Asian cricketers possibly have faced.